We talk about this every 2-3 weeks, trying to implore the Niners to do something with Fred Warner. They don't do nothing. No news on Fred Warner. Nothing to report. Radio silence. What do you think, Vish?
Yeah. So the first thing I wanted to address with this is I was, peeping the comment section the last time we did this. I always see the live comments, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, how do you know they're not working on it? How do you know they're not working on it?" The reason I know they're not working on it is because they would tell us if they were working on a Fred Warner extension. Why? Because the best PR for this football team throughout this offseason is two things. One, it's to make Trey Lance look good. And two, the other thing is to look like they're doing every single thing they can to sign Fred Warner as fast as possible for as much money as possible. That's really the best PR this organization is going to get this offseason outside of Trey Lance looking good. That's why I would know, because the moment the talk starts with Fred Warner, I promise all the Niners have entered talks with Fred Warner will be reported by maybe not, Adam Schefter, because that guy thought it was going to be Mac Jones. He was making stuff up, but maybe I'm trying to think which reporters are credible. I'm joking. But no, you thought it was Mac Jones with me for a little bit, Grant.
That's true. I'm negated because
you picked Mac Jones in the SI mock draft. I'm not letting you get away with this one.
I tried to put Kyle Pitts down originally. They wouldn't let me do it.
So I'm joking. I'm really just joking. I'm really being salty and facetious about it. Really, it's not a big deal. That's a little besides the point. But the point to me is I promise that people will report on it, because signing Fred Warner is a big deal for this organization. Talking to Fred Warner about his contract is a big deal. Because honestly, the outlook of Fred Warner should be that he's the franchise player of this organization. He's the best in front of the media. He always says the right things. He plays every single game. He plays an elite level. Everything about Fred Warner to me is exactly what you're looking for. So, yeah, I just look at it and say that there's no way they wouldn't be saying – there's no way they would be having talks in secret. Like, you have talks in secret when you're about to trade DeForest Buckner. You have talks in public when you're about to sign DeForest Buckner. There's a difference.
Now, the other thing I want to say is they haven't signed Trey Lance either or Sermon. So it's possible that all these things will get wrapped up right at the deadline, day of camp, reporting day. But if these things – I mean, I'm 100% expecting the two Treys to sign the day camp starts, which means maybe the Niners are like, we'll just do that with Fred Warner that day too. If not, if this lingers into training camp, it's a problem and it's an issue and something to talk about. That's what I'm going to frame it that way.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, maybe the Niners are like, we got these other two things we're going to handle. We're just going to sign a bunch of people on report day at the end of July or whatever.
So I think that the season, is the time where you should start worrying, because I think the thing with him is I think he'll end up showing up for training camp, going through everything, being the leader of the football team that he is. So you won't feel that added pressure. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not sure George Kittle would have come and showed up, to training camp without a new deal.
Yeah.
If things were as contentious as they reportedly were, which Mike Silver wrote an entire essay on it.
Right.
If you remember,
also, I want to say
you were mentioning that.
All the urgency and all the reports last year with Kittle were coming from Kittle's side. How do I know? So, and if you're saying there's more urgency there with Kittle than there last year than there would be this year with Warner. Maybe Warner's side is just saying, we're not going to call up Mike Silver, anyone from NFL Network. We're going to let the Niners take as much time, and if they want to mess around, then that's their problem.
The one thing that makes me a little bit scared is that, correct me if I'm wrong, is Fred Warner's agent David Mulligetta?
I don't know. Let me see. I'll tell you right now. Right, because that's Deshaun Watson's
agent, Jalen Ramsey's agent.
Just a second. I'll tell you right now. No, it's someone named Justin Schulman, Athletes First.
Athletes First is David Mulligetta, I think.
Oh, okay.
Well, the thing that worries me is let me just make sure of this just in case. Yeah, so he is Athletes First. What worries me with that is they've engineered a lot of 2 first-round pick trades for their star clients. Jalen Ramsey. They're trying to engineer with Deshaun Watson, all of that. Now, Fred Warner clearly wants to stay and all of that, so I'm not saying that. But I would like to know that, you know, for my personal just superstitions and worries as a fan, that, you know, they're progressing on this so that I can feel a little bit happy because, again, I'm a fan. So I want Fred Warner to be on this football team for every year he's in the NFL. He's like that kind of player. He's the kind of player you want on your team. He's the kind of player you cheer for. So I would like it to happen. I mean, if you remember, actually, like the Trey Lance deal, you and I actually had a phone call after the draft, I think, where we talked about how Trey Lance deal might take a little bit of time to get done with the details, because Trey Lance's agent is Jimmy Sexton, the biggest, or one of the biggest quarterback agents out there, and he's not going to move a little bit for his client. And the way the Niners usually do things is they win on the details. Parag always wins on the details. But I mean, I don't know. I hate that there's no updates. Let me just put it that way. All I need is for there to be some updates.
Bora A over here is saying, Grant, there was news that they have started contract negotiations. Oh, word? Who reported that?
It was reported by a couple people that I'm not going to say they don't have sources because I don't know those things. Right. I'm just going to say that I would also like for
someone reputable, someone at the NFL Network or Adam Schefter or me. So that's the way we'll be monitoring this. This should really be wrapped up in the next 3 weeks. I mean, they report in like 3 weeks. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they can wrap this up.
Honest to God, I don't even think the rookie contract thing is really even that much of an excuse to not be working on it, because to me, the inner workings of the rookie contract, there's only so many things you can talk about because so much of the contract is pre-structured.